I'm going to show you how to use EduClimber in order to create student plans, develop goals, and progress monitor. So the first step is to access EduClimber. You can find that in a few different places. Here it's within the sparta.org bookmarks. When you click on EduClimber, it's automatically going to put in the district code for you, and then you can sign in with Google. It will take you to your landing page, your home page. And you may have been in here for all kinds of different reasons, but specifically to create a plan, there are two places that you can go to. You can either go directly to interventions, or you can search the student through the student profile and create a plan directly under their name. I am going to show you how to do it through the intervention tab because I think that's where you're going to access plans, enter progress monitoring data. So you really want to familiarize yourself with this intervention portion of the platform. When you're creating a new plan, you're going to select new, and you don't want to connect it to FastBridge, so leave the no box selected. And now it's going to walk you through these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So you're really just going to follow along with the prompts. So you have this school year selected. I'm going to find a sample student here, and that student is at the middle school. You're then going to search their name. And when you have the student you're looking to add identified, then you can click continue. You are now going to make sure that you are the interventionist. You could add others if it's necessary. You can also now fill in the remaining boxes for the intervention details. So I'm going to select a Tier 2 SEL plan because the majority of our plans will probably be that. When I get to the skill area, I want to select behavior. You're going to select this every time because the strategy that you're working on is ultimately trying to change a behavior that the student is demonstrating, either diminish or enhance a behavior you're looking to achieve. When it comes to selecting the strategy, these strategies correspond with the CASTLE framework, these 5 competencies. And whatever strategy you select that you're going to use to help change the behavior that you're looking to impact in the classroom setting, whichever you select, you're later down the road of creating this plan going to have these different elements that you can focus in on within whatever competency you select. You'll see that the elements then change, and the EduClimber plan corresponds with these things. So I'm going to select relationship skills as the strategy that I'm going to work on to try to change the behavior that we're seeing in the classroom space. And then I am going to continue. The end date should be anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks. So I'm just going to go back. If we're starting here in January, and I'm going to count out, we'll go with 6 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to say the beginning of March. I'm going to leave it on a weekly schedule. And now I'm going to select which days a week I'm going to meet with the students. So let's say it's Tuesday and Thursday. I'm going to leave those selected. Now I'm just going to select everything right now to show you how the progress monitoring works. Based on the days of the week that you select, you will only be able to progress monitor on those days and the dates that correspond with these days of the week. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to leave them all selected. You have to put a start time, but really this doesn't impact anything. So I almost always just put, I guess you should put during school hours, but if you know when you're going to meet with that child, that's great. If you don't, just put in a space holder. You can always change it later, but it's also not really essential. This is an important part. What are the periods you're working with this child? Is it only during a counseling session? Obviously, depending on the needs of the student and how far along they are in developing these skills. Are you also going to push in at some point during the second half of the afternoon? Are you going to be doing observations during their recess period? Or is there going to be some kind of remediation on the school bus? So you can click as many or as few of these as you feel represents the time you'll be working with the student. Now, these expectations, again, relate directly to the fact that I chose I think I chose relationship skills. So you'll see the strategies line up with, again, relationship skills because that's what I selected. So I'm going to just select communicate effectively and resolve conflicts. And then I'm going to continue. It will allow me to review my intervention and ultimately create it. From this point, I can go view my intervention, but this isn't typically how you see the intervention. So I'm going to show you how you would normally get to that. So your intervention is created. You're on your home page, and you probably won't see as much as I do right now based on your role in the district. But if you want to see a student plan, you're going to identify yourself as the interventionist. And here I can see the one plan that I created. I want to actually see the student plan. So I want to go to the student and I'm going to double click their name. And this is going to bring me to a page where I can see their plan, I can add their specific goal, and I can also progress monitor. So to add the goal, you identified the strategy and when you're going to see the child, but what goal are you actually trying to impact? How are you trying to impact the student's behavior based on the strategy that you've identified of relationship skills? So I'm going to actually go into the plan. So I'm going to select reports and I'm going to go into the student plan, which is right here. It has all the information we already put in. And I'm going to create my SMART goal right here. I highly recommend you only create one SMART goal to start with because we have to remember that this is supposed to be achieved. Obviously, SMART, specific, measurable, all of those things that you're going to learn about, timely, relevant. And this has to be done within we identified a 6-week period. You can select 2 goals, but it also becomes difficult to progress monitor 2 different goals. So I would stick with one goal to start with. It will keep you focused. You can type the goal right in here. Student will be able to. It will automatically save for you. As your data generates, you're going to see a graph that populates for you over time. There's room for you to keep intervention notes on the student, so you can always open this plan to be updating it. Upon initial completion of the plan, and then later when you're sharing it out at the end of the progress monitoring period, this will have to be uploaded onto Genesis. And here's how you do this. You go to that print preview where you can see the initial plan, which doesn't have too much data in it right now. It just shows what the goal, the strategy, the schedule for remediation would look like. And you can download this and then upload it into Genesis. Once you have this plan at the end of a 6-week period filled with data and information, you would also re-upload that once you share it out with the parents and determine what your next steps are, which might be setting a new goal, extending the plan, exiting the student. So any of those things can happen after a progress monitoring period is over. So now this is all in the student's plan. I'm going to close it. If you were to open it again, you'll see that information saved for you. Student will be able to, and if I made any notes, that would be in there. So you can also share this plan. So you can share it with the parents to their email, although the easiest way they should be able to see it is through Genesis. That's really where all our documents are for parents to review. You can share it with another teacher. You can select a teacher that you feel like might benefit from adding information to this plan, adding intervention notes. So you can share that and add that with that person. It will go right to their email. Okay. So as you start working with this child, you're going to want to progress monitor. And so again, the way I got in here was just finding the student. I'll just go back from the beginning, making sure I'm the interventionist, clicking on the plans that I manage and looking at it not through the charts, but through our data list. You will have multiple students if you oversee multiple kids. And then again, just double click on their name and it opens things up for you here. There's another way to get into this and I'll show you that as well. So progress monitoring is where we are. And when I'm ready to put data in, I'm going to click on not the summary, but the goal. And then I'm going to use these 3 dots to enter my scores. So because I have 2 strategies that I'm working on, there are 2 areas that I could include data in, and I also need to give feedback on attendance. So the way I enter anything in any of these is I just double click. It will default to present, but if the student was absent, obviously you can include that. That's important to include to see how many times the student was actually seen on their assigned days. If the student is present, you can leave that and you can click on this anywhere from 1 to 100. So I might say 85% of the time and 95% of the time on this first, on this day that I worked with a student. And you can see that that gives you an average. So for this particular date. So over time, you can, I don't know if I could put it in ahead of time. Obviously, that wouldn't make sense, but you can backtrack. So if didn't put data in for a session you worked with the child, you can go back in time to add that data. Funny enough, it does let you go forward, which is interesting. But this is the part where I said if you only have Tuesdays and Thursdays selected, it's only going to allow you to put data in on Tuesdays and Thursdays of the month that you're in. So even if you had to change your schedule and you normally see the child Tuesday and Thursday, but one week you saw the child on Wednesday instead of Tuesday, just put the data in for the Tuesday because that's what's going to allow you to progress monitor accordingly. So this is how you enter scores. You can close that and this will populate. It probably just takes a minute. You'll also have a graph. Probably if I click off of the child, I'll show you another way that you can add intervention information when you want to progress monitor. You can, on your intervention homepage, you can click on enter point scores, and now your student groups will populate. And so I just have to click on the group, I should say, and I can start adding that information for whatever date I want to do that. So there's a few different ways you can access all this information. If you want to see all your students at once, so you can be entering data for each of them, I would go in through enter point scores. If you want to see one student at a time, you can go in through their plan. You can also go to the student profile and you can search the child and you can see that all of that information is now available for you right on their homepage, right on their student information profile. And so other teachers now will be able to see this information that you're working with the child and where they are in terms of their goals. Are they on track? Are they not? How many times have they been seen? You can also, in this form section, click on there and you can see their plan here in the form section as well. Again, just double clicking on it will take you right to their intervention plan. You can actually see the graph already started populating with the average of right now based on the scores that I put in. So this is how you use EduClimber, and this is all of the information that you need accessible to you for now. Obviously, if you have any questions, we are here to help you.